On today's show, I teach you how to go big with your business. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 17th, Tuesday. I'm really excited about today's show. You guys are watching The Top Line Entrepreneur, which is one of my favorite shows to talk to you guys about because it just touches on my favorite topic in the world, which is entrepreneurship and how to grow a business and how to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've made along the way. My name is Brett Summers. For those of you who don't know me, I've been running Top Line Training and Top Line Gym and all sorts of little Top Line spin-off businesses for the last 10 years, and next month, it'll be 11 years. So it's been a long time. Somehow we've been able to keep it going by the grace of God, because I know I've made a lot of mistakes, and that's what this show is about, making sure that you guys can avoid some of those things. I've started all sorts of little businesses. I've been involved in trucking companies. I've been involved in real estate deals. I had a supplement store. I had a baseball training company. I have a football business that we're still doing right now. We got one of the characters who runs it with me out in the shop right now. And we're doing all sorts of things and kind of branching into that social media and some of those marketing and promotional things right now, which is kind of exciting. So we're always trying to learn, always trying to grow. I'm a work in progress, just like I'm sure many of you are. And remember that some of the principles that we'll talk about on the Top Line Entrepreneur are also applicable to relationships and faith and to fitness. So some of the things you're learning from this, even if you're not an entrepreneur, maybe you're an intrapreneur and you work at your business and you just want to be a better team member and employee and staffer at your current job and your current position, or maybe you're a leader inside of someone else's business, and a lot of these things could truly help you guys out. So I'm hoping that you guys will take them to heart. And again, at the end of the show, we always want to get your feedback and get some questions from you guys. And our goal is just to help you out. My goal is always just to help out. If I can help one person, I'm pumped. If I can help out 10, 20, 100, 1,000, that's even better. So thank you guys for tuning in. I don't want to chew up a lot of your time, so I'm going to get right to it today. And again, you heard in the beginning of the show, I want to teach you guys how to take your business big. You see, when you first start off in business, you might be running your idea by your mom or your sister or your brother or your aunt or your uncle or maybe some of your friends. Now, God bless their hearts. They all probably like you. They all probably love you and care about you. But unfortunately, some of them might have their own self-limiting beliefs and fears and insecurities that they might pass off on you while you try and chase your dreams. They might tell you things like, be realistic, or, oh, don't do that because what if something happens? And they start to fill your mind with all of these things that make you start to think a little bit smaller and contract a little bit, okay? Now, most people will say things like, why don't you just base your numbers conservatively? Why don't you just do things and base it off of worst case scenarios? Well, the big problem with that is that you're never thinking big enough to come up with big enough solutions. And if you're thinking small and you're playing small, if you think small and play small in your business, the services that you offer are going to be small. Your staff will be small. Worst case, you might end up, it's just you. Now, who's the idiot who works just by himself? I did that for many years. I don't want you guys to make that mistake. Nobody does anything wildly incredible just by themselves. Now, in every business, there's one or two people who are really pushing the business forward. They're moving the boat. They're pushing the troops out. But again, they have troops. And you need to think big and expansive to be able to get to that level. And one of my biggest mistakes was maybe playing a little bit small, which in the beginning, you want to gain experience, you want to start to think, but surround yourself with people who are doing bigger things, people where you want to be, people who are already at the level you want to be at, and those people are going to be challenging you to not think about making $80,000 a year. They might challenge you to think about how to make $10 million a year. And there's a huge shift in thinking that has to occur for you to think that big. Now, you don't need the whole 10 million. So this isn't the Gary Vee where you're like, everybody can make 80 grand going and slinging garage sale stuff on the internet. Those people would make the 80 grand for themselves. That's it. They wouldn't have 10 employees or 20 employees. They wouldn't probably be able to touch a lot of people and help and serve a lot of people. They'd make 80 grand and then go fart around on the weekends, okay? And they'd be happy with their 80 grand. I'm talking about doing it big. Good staff, good people on you, the best people, A players around you. You can't do that by playing small. Now, even when you're thinking big, should you stress test your idea and make sure that the numbers and the things actually make sense? Yes, but you don't have to do everything so conservatively that you never think big, okay? The next thing I wanted to go over with you guys is this. It's a question. Here's our 1 minute video. What would you do if you weren't afraid of anything? What would your business look like if you weren't afraid of anything? What would your future wife or boyfriend look like? And what would they be like if you weren't afraid to go after and talk to someone? What would your body look like if you weren't afraid to go work out? What would your social media look like if you weren't afraid of what everyone thought about it? So often in life, we have all these big goals, dreams, and ambitions, but we're afraid of something, and that fear is what's holding us back. My challenge to you this week, today, is to go past the fear, look past the fear, and be fearless, and look to where you can actually go. Now, in business, that couldn't be more true. In business, you have to think to yourself, I'm going to do this come hell or high water. I'm going to accomplish this dream, and here's how I'm going to do it. If you're afraid of everything all the time and you let that fear hold you back, you'll never accomplish what you truly want to accomplish. The skit was over a little while ago, but in business, it's so true. In business, people are afraid of, what if I hire this employee? Or like in our case, this week, actually next week. Next week at Topline, our training business, we are going to be adding in some hours to our training schedule, which we don't typically do in our business. It didn't fit our model. But I'm trying to think a little bit bigger and a little bit more expansive and see how we can serve and solve more problems for people and come up with better solutions. One of those things I think might help is coming up with some early morning training sessions for people so they can get a sweat in before they go to work, so we can accommodate people who don't just work out in the evening. Now, it seems simple, but there is a fear there because I've done it in the past. Now, in the past, I wasn't a good enough leader, and I had people and trainers in here who were actually sleeping in their car, and the clients weren't coming in and they were telling me that everything was all good and they were just getting paid to sleep in their car, until I started to measure and track and govern and kind of police the situation, in which case I figured things out and split ways with that person. So it wasn't even on that person. It was on me for my piss poor leadership at the time. But that's besides the point. See, that fear of doing it again and maybe having it be wrong is what was holding me back. But when I get over that fear and I think, well, I'm a better leader now, we can do it, now we're able to attack that. So you can't let fear hold you back. So ask yourself that question every morning. What would I do if I wasn't afraid? Another thing I wanted to touch on today is this. When you want to go big, you have to be able to make decisions. And when you have to make decisions, what you have to avoid is making all sorts of tiny, minute decisions. So some of those things for me are what I'm going to wear each day. And we were joking about it before because I'm trying to hire an assistant right now who's going to do all sorts of stuff for me. They're going to remind me when to drink my water. They're going to go pick up groceries when I need it. They're going to go buy me clothes and shoes when I need it. They're going to go fill my gas. They're going to make a lot of things happen, and a lot of things that are relatively easy. But what happens is I never have to think to myself, well, when do I have to fit this into my day? This thing that has to get done, right? Like filling pill cases, like supplement cases, or when do I need to take this shake, or when do I need to eat this meal? Now, all those things sound a little crazy, right? I wanted to put myself in a position financially to where I could afford to pay someone to do that, because that stuff's important to keep me going. So in order to make this big decisions and think bigger and focus on how can I hire the next person, and how can we grow the business, and how can we add more responsibility to somebody, I'm gonna have to eliminate all these tiny little decisions. So in order to go big, you have to stop doing the small stuff. But even though it's small stuff has to get done too, but it doesn't have to get done by you. Dang, it's rhyming, we're rapping, we're cracking. It's a good one today. I like it, guys. Remember that when you want to get big things done, you should focus on the big things. But that doesn't mean the small things can't be done either. Sometimes you have to review tax liability. Sometimes you have to make decisions with your accountant, and you'll have to go do that stuff, the big stuff. But when it comes to punching in the receipts and writing the payroll checks, I want someone else doing that kind of stuff in the future. So The next thing that I wanted to talk about is this. And we're talking about going big still. If you want your business to go big, you have to invest money into your business. Now, remember this as well. Not everything that you invest money into in your business has an ROI. Everyone's always saying, what's the ROI if I put money into advertising? What's the ROI if I buy this camera equipment? What's the ROI if we post X number of times a day? You're not always going to see what the ROI is. That's like saying, like, what's the ROI of me putting time into this employee? You don't know if that employee is going to be there forever. We don't know if Britt's always going to be here. Britt's probably thinking right now, she's like, I've listened to this dude so much today, I might not even be here the rest of this afternoon. Blake might be thinking the same thing. Blake's been so distant lately, I think he might already even left.
Nicely.
No, he's still there. But really, at the end of the day, when you want to invest into like a social media ad, how are you going to be able to tell if that has an ROI right away? You're not. You need to always put, I've never regretted any of the money I've put in my business. I've always regretted the money that I've put into personal things. I can remember it vividly back in 2009 when I first started to learn how to have a business system, and I started to add, in our line of work, it's called EFT, electronic funds transfer. And I started to build up how much money was coming in every month because I was signing people up on recurring billing, which was giving me a predictable income every month. And I started to hit that. It was 2009. I started to hit that. Okay, there's $7,000 a month coming in. Now there's $8,000 a month coming in. So I'm a young guy at the time. I'm thinking, this is 10 years ago. So I'm 23, 24. I'm thinking, oh man, things are going good. I went and bought 3 pairs of Jordans. Can you even picture me doing that? I went and bought 3 pairs of Jordans, some baseball hats, some Dolce & Gabbana glass. Just ridiculous. You would never picture me doing that now because I'm like the anti that. But the funny thing is I immediately regretted it. Like the next day I had serious buyer's remorse and I took it back and I learned from it. I gave the Dolce glasses to my brother Al, who was going to Arizona because he needed to block the sun a little bit more than I did here in Wisconsin. But I never regret the money that I spend on the business. Not everything always has a big ROI, or not everything is always the best investment, which you can liquidate, and it's a tax write-off, and it has all sorts of other benefits. But I've always regretted the money that I've put in myself. So if you have a business, you want it to grow, put money into it. Staff, equipment, clients, giveaways. It's just pretty simple, guys. Don't sit there and scrutinize every dollar that you spend on your business. Plunge it in. Okay, if it doesn't work and you're just a dummy and you don't know what you're doing, then you need to maybe meet with some people and talk about what would be a wise investment for you. So don't waste it, but put it into your business. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, how to go big. Think big. Get around people who are thinking big. Get around people who are doing things that are so big you almost can't even like go around them because it makes you nervous to go around them. I set an appointment with a woman named Cindy. She's a big real estate developer. And I weaseled my way in to get a big meeting with her because I'd like to venture into that space and keep putting more time and attention into that space. Now she's playing several levels above me. That's the type of person that I need to be around. I'm not saying that people who are just doing regular things, I'm better than them, but if I want to get to a certain thing and do some things, I need to get around those people. Britt is sitting here right now, and Britt this past weekend flew across the country with Michelle because Michelle, my girlfriend, the owner of Ellen Co-Styling Salon, was going out to do this huge event in Arizona at a convention center to be educating and teaching people, and she was speaking from stage, and she was meeting all sorts of new people and building all sorts of relationships and expanding her empire. When you want to go big, you have to surround yourself with people who are doing bigger and better things. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You might have to fly across the country. You might have to go work all night. You might have to work long hours. You might have to be up early in the morning. That's just something you have to commit to if you want to get out of your comfort zone. Like today, we're doing a lot of things I don't really want to do. But we have to do them today to free ourselves up to have more time to do other things. So hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. That means you have the rest of the week to get bigger, to get better, to think bigger with your business, to invest into your business, to put time, money, and effort and energy into it. And I wanted you guys, I'm thankful that you guys tuned in with me, but I wanted you guys to think about that. Am I thinking big enough with my business? Do I want a team of 30, 40, 100 people? I think that everybody truly does, but what happens is we make sense of playing small. We make sense of what I call small ball. In baseball, You can bunt, you can move runners over, you can do RBIs, or you can hit home runs. I'm always going to choose the home runs. I liked it when I played, and I like doing it now. Skip the bunt, skip the small stuff. Quit playing small. Think bigger, drop bombs, go big. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video, like it, comment, drop a comment. If you have questions about business, if you have questions about some of the dumb, stupid, idiotic mistakes that I've made in business and things I wish I hadn't done to fast forward me 5 years without having to slow myself down, please drop a comment. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Even if you're in a different space than I am, all of us entrepreneurs are a little crazy. We're a little weird. A lot of times it sucks because we know that other people can't really quite get to where we're at mentally because we're a little nuts. You have to be crazy to be an entrepreneur. You have to be a little off your rockers. You have to think differently like, who wants to take this risk? Who wants to stroke checks out to all these people? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, just think about it like this. To pay for this facility costs more than most people make a year. The average person makes a year. It's just your expense without heating it, without employing it, without flooring it, without lighting it, without any of that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Just
think about that. Like, you're like, hey, I got another 60 grand I got to pay this year. Would you be like, holy crap? You got to be crazy. And if you're an entrepreneur out there and you're a little nuts, male, female, doesn't matter who you are, reach out so we can talk, because sometimes you feel like you're alone, you're on an island, you got nobody to talk to. That's how I feel a lot of times, because I just know a lot of people can't relate to it. So I'm more than happy to help. Reach out to me. Give me a follow at Mr. Brett Summers on Instagram, or if you want to follow our business pages at Top Line Gym. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you watch some of our other videos on YouTube. You'll see them linked up here at some point. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have an awesome rest of the week. Close out hard. Close it out hard. It's Tuesday. You got a lot more days to work. Keep cranking.